Hi everybody, thanks for joining us today on Cooking with Carolina Nephrology. I'm Dr. Blake Shusterman, and today we're going to be making salmon. And I'm going to make salmon two different ways. One way is in the oven. We're going to bake it at about 350, and the other is we're going to sear it on the stovetop at a very high heat. And the reason I'm doing it two different ways is because there are a lot of people that don't like fish, and I figure the more ways we have to serve it, the better it's going to be, and the more chance you get to convince somebody who doesn't like fish to eat it. And salmon is a very easy fish to cook. It's a good choice. It's got very high omega-3 fatty acids, which are shown to be cardioprotective, and both of these recipes end up being delicious. So we've got two different fillets here. We've got kind of a thicker salmon fillet and a thinner salmon fillet. And let's go with the thicker one first. And we're going to put this one in the oven because it's much easier to cook a thicker fillet in the oven than it is on the stovetop. So we are going to make our dressing for on top of the salmon. And this is my go-to vinaigrette. I make this for everything. Salads, chicken, beans, you name it. I really don't have more than one vinaigrette skill, and that's okay because this is so good. Okay, so we've got Dijon mustard. We're just going to squirt some of that in a bowl. I'm going to use about a tablespoon, maybe a little more because I like a little extra Dijon. Red wine vinegar. Probably going to use about 1/8 of a cup or so. And I'm going to whisk it together as I'm pouring. And to that vinaigrette, we're going to add our olive oil. Very, very easy. You can mix this up if you want and add things like garlic to the dressing or shallots or fresh herbs. But we're just going to keep it real simple and easy. And both of these recipes are so easy, they're perfect for making on a weeknight. And that's what I wanted to show you how to do today. Okay, so we've got our dressing. And we've got our salmon fillets. And we're going to make our little cooking vessel, which is going to be aluminum foil. So we got 3 salmon fillets. I'm going to make 3 containers of aluminum foil. 1 fillet in each. Okay, you with me here so far? We've got our 3 salmon fillets, and we're just going to pour some of the dressing over on top of each one. Okay, now we're going to sprinkle it with just a little bit of salt. And because it's got that tangy Dijon and red wine vinegar, you really don't need a lot of salt. And we're going to top each fillet with 3 to 4 leaves of fresh basil. As you can see, it doesn't take a lot of talent to make this dish. It's very easy. Okay, and that's it. We're just going to wrap them, put it in the oven, and cook for 10 to 15 minutes until they're through. Now we've got 1 salmon in the oven, and I'm going to show you how to make the other salmon. It's really just as easy. The key for this one is the cooking technique, and it just will take a little bit of practice to get it. But you can't be afraid to cook on high heat, and you can't be afraid to make that salmon a little bit black. You're going to sear that top. Okay, so we've got a little olive oil again. We're going to cover both our fillets with olive oil. And again, it's easier to use a thinner fillet for this. If you use a thicker fillet and you're trying to cook it on the stovetop, you end up with a middle that's not quite done yet. All right, we're just going to get these nice and covered in our olive oil. And then we are going to douse them in our seasoning. Don't be afraid of a lot of seasoning. This seasoning, this is a low sodium kind of blackened seasoning. This is a little different than the typical blackened seasoning because it also has a little bit of lemon pepper in it. So it gives it a really nice tang. So we've got our coated fillets, and we're going to go over to our preheated stovetop, and we're going to sear them. Beautiful blackened color. All right, perfect. All right, so here is our finished product. We've got blackened salmon, which you saw me make on a hot skillet top. We've got our baked salmon in the olive oil made with the vinaigrette on top and the basil leaves. And this is how I like to serve my dinner. I serve it with a fresh vegetable, and this is Brussels sprouts that have been roasted at 450 for about 10 minutes. These are halved first, and what I did is I just put them in a bag, poured some olive oil on top, sprinkle of salt, put them on a tray, and bake them until they're brown, and they're delicious. and so this is Israeli couscous, which has a little bigger kernels than the normal couscous that you use. And the way I cooked this was I toasted it first in a hot pan, about a cup of it, and you wait till the kernels get brown. Then I added to that about a cup and a quarter of water. And you could also use no sodium chicken stock to add to let it cook to that. And when it's finished, I squeezed a lemon on top and put some chopped fresh dill. And the dill goes really nicely with the salmon anyway. And let's taste this and see how it is. All right, which should I taste first? I don't know if you can see, but it's still nice and moist on the inside. Lots of good flavor. And let's try the other salmon here. Again, really moist. When you cook it in that foil, it's really easy. I mean, it's so much easier than going out to dinner. Well, maybe it's not easier than going out to dinner, but it's so much better for you, and it won't take long to do at home. And your body will thank you in the long run if you eat like this. Thank you so much for joining us today on Cooking with Carolina Nephrology. We made 2 salmon recipes, both very easy. You can do them at home, and just with a little practice, I think you'll be really happy with the results. If you want to see this full recipe, you can go to our website, carolinanephrology.com/cooking. We've got breakfast, we've got dessert, we've got dinner, we've got lunch, we've got snacks, we've got everything on there. Thank you.